Hailing from just a few states over, she loves a good Cheez-It and will wash it down with some swig. She loves Scrabble, outdoor concerts at the Ruoff, and golfing at Crooked Stick. She's every ref's favorite, and she dresses like a CEO because she's a boss. Please welcome to the show, Caitlin Clark.
Hailing just a few states over, Caitlin Clark carries that warm Midwest spirit steadfast, unassuming, yet charged with a competitive fire that lights up any room. She's the kind of person who kicks back with a bag of Cheez-Its and a nice soda, sinks into a long war of words on a Scrabble board, loses herself in live concerts at Ruoff, and finds quiet focus out on the golf course at Crooked Stick. On the court, she plays with professional poise that wins the approval of every referee. Off the court, she moves with the confidence of a CEO, composed, intentional, always ready. This is Caitlin Clark, grounded, determined, undeniably herself. Her most revealing interview yet came at All-Star Weekend, when she faced Sue Bird across the Touchmore podcast mic. The moment she stepped into that studio, there was no mistaking her presence. Gone was the polished athlete trained for sound bites. This Caitlin was raw, funny, fearless, emotionally open. Nothing was off-limits. Any rumor, mistake, or awkward moment got unpacked.
First and foremost, you're in your second year. You're already getting an all-star game, so you get to host, which is amazing. Obviously, we'll just say the obvious. We're all very bummed that you can't participate.
Me too.
Yeah, I know you're bummed as well, but you can still enjoy it. Yeah. I think Indiana so far has done an incredible job.
Act with candor. For fans who thought they already knew her, this interview proved there was much more to discover. Without a script, you just see who I really am. She said, her voice warm but direct, as cameras rolled and Sue nodded in agreement. The night unfolded like a series of candid confessions.
The city has done a tremendous job of, decking out the whole place and making everybody feel welcome. So it's just getting started.
Wasn't planned. It wasn't rehearsed in. It was absolutely refreshing. She didn't lace up her sneakers for the All-Star game, but she was undeniably the centerpiece of Indianapolis that weekend. The city practically transformed in her honor. Giant billboard cutouts, bursts of Nike branding, fans lining streets just to catch a glimpse of her face. In return, Caitlin soaked it.
I think it's amazing. You wouldn't want it the other way. So you just enjoy it, and they've put so much time, effort, and money. When we found out we were getting All-Star shortly after All-Star last year in Phoenix, they've been working on this around the clock. There's been so many different committees and so many different people that will never get credit for what they've been able to do and just the logistics behind it to make it amazing, not only for the people that are going to go to the three-point competition, skills competition, or the game, but just the people that are coming into the city to be around and just see everything that's being put on and just enjoy the vibes. I think is absolutely incredible.
All in with genuine appreciation. I've seen the committees working on this since last year in Phoenix, she said, tracing the timeline of preparation that brought All-Star Weekend to Indy. She thanked everyone involved, the planners, the support staff, the volunteers in assisting, that her presence was a gesture of thanks in return. Not a formality. I want to make this awesome. You never know when we'll be back here, she added.
For myself, you embrace being the host. Who knows if we'll ever get to bring it back here. I'm sure we will at some point, but maybe not for a few years. So I'm just trying to do, everything I can to make it amazing for everyone.
Her eyes bright with intention. That sentiment, the moment count, giving her all. Staying connected to the people is woven throughout the entire conversation. Of course, fame brings scrutiny. Caitlin acknowledged how social media can distort reality. Flooded with praise one minute and tidal waves of criticism the next. But she doesn't focus on the noise. She focuses on the faces in the stands. Young girls wide-eyed, clutching signs, little boys who camped out in the morning cold for a chance to see her warm up. It's those kids I play for, she said simply. Not the noise online. Letting that perspective guide her.
Well, I think first, you have to remember social media is just such a false perception of reality. And even for myself, you don't always realize that at times. It's not the real world. And, when you're in a position of, people are going to love you, people aren't going to like you. But I think when I show up to arenas, those are the moments that really remind me of how many people are really there supporting you and loving you. The little boys and the little girls, those are the people that are on social media caring about every decision you make or every comment you make. But also at the same time, I feel I just try to show up every single day and be myself and approach it that way and just be authentically me. And
keeps her authentic, keeps her grounded. Then came the locker room revelation. Away from the spotlight, she's the team's comedian. Steph White jokingly refers to her as the comedic relief. Between games, she's sending memes, cracking jokes in group chats, breaking the tension. In those moments, she's far from the fierce shooter fans know she's warm, playful, real. But on game night, everything shifts. Once I step on that court, I turn on, she said, voice low, eyes sharp. I want to kill. It's a transformation. She welcomes oscillating between silly friend and driven athlete, is how she stays balanced. Later, she peeled back the curtain on her iconic heat check mentality. If I hit 2 shots in a row, I'm confident. If I hit 3, I take the risk. Even if Coach Steph doesn't love it. She laughed at that, describing the moment as both instinct and intuition colliding in real time. It's not reckless, it's calculated confidence. She paused, leaning forward. That's when you know you're locked in. A flashback moment she described as transformative. In college, she dropped 41 points with a triple-double against Louisville. That's when she realized something had changed. It clicked. I'm not just playing games anymore. The world was watching, and so was she. Before that, there were glimmers like Travis Scott sharing an Instagram story of her. She stared at her phone, confused. Why me? She laughed. But it was cool. And then came the tweet from LeBron James. She called him her MJ, the athlete she looked up to most. Hearing his praise. Unreal. Then Steph Curry started tweeting. It was validation stacked on validation, all driven by her performances, what she called her shutdown. Lights out. Unstoppable nights. Then the conversation shifted to rumors. Even pressurized athletes aren't immune to fake news. Word had leaked that she declined the NBA three-point contest because she didn't want to shoot off a rack. She exhaled a laugh. That was dumb, she said.
The one person that really made me starstruck probably was LeBron, because LeBron was a person that I grew up absolutely loving. He was my Michael Jordan, because I was younger, and that's the person that I always looked up to. And so I'd say him, even throughout, and Steph, even those at the end of my college career, they began to comment on some things as I was ending my career, and then now professionally. But I feel I still have a lot of those moments, and it doesn't always feel real, because I feel very lucky and fortunate.
That level of recognition.
Completely wrong. She made her point without anger, only amusement. She looked at Sue. I called it out, and they had no choice but to backtrack. Her tone was firm but playful. That moment summed up how she handles false narratives, not by allowing them to fester, but by confronting them with clarity. The chat veered toward humor again into the wild world of freeze-frame memes. There was one image, mid-game, tension etched on her face. In a split-second rivalry moment, the camera paused, capturing an expression that went viral. People laughed. She laughed harder. That's not me, she said. In real time, I was all intensity, but freeze-frame, I look like I've been possessed. She held up her hand, miming pulling back a freaked-out face. It's hilarious. Hair messed up, face contorted, it shows how goofy things can look out of context. She shrugged, still smiling. Even superstars can be memes, and I'm here for it. She leaned into the next topic, the sideline whisper that sparked weeks of speculation. At a Chiefs game, she was caught leaning toward Taylor Swift, seemingly whispering. The internet insisted it was some deep conversation. Caitlin grinned. I was just explaining the flag, she admitted. Football is my jam. I was breaking it down. Being in that suite adjacent to Swift, watching Travis Kelce live, she said it felt surreal. Cold stadium air, the roar of the crowd, the scent of autumn and aerial of it. It was magic, she said, using that exact word. A big smile creased her face. Then came the most Midwest moment of all, the butter sculpt. At the Iowa State Fair, they built a butter figure of her next. To the legendary butter cow, she looked amused. Only in Iowa. She laughed softly. It was the weirdest honor I've ever gotten. But it meant so much. This butter Caitlin created by a local artist, now preserved as part of Iowa memory, felt like homecoming, recognition, and unexpected delight all in one. She talked next about her earlier sports life, a football field striker in high school. Soccer, she described, chasing down opponents full speed, the rush of running, white Nike cleats pounding pavement. She laughed. I probably got a yellow card, but I went in with everything I had. She joked that defense wasn't her strength, but enthusiasm always was. It became clear, whether butter sculptures or viral memes, stadium sidelines or podcast microphones, she had stayed undeniably herself. She didn't become bigger. Everything just got bigger around her. Sue asked her what she hoped people took away. She paused. That I'm human, she answered simply. I'm not perfect, I make mistakes. I care about what's true. The message was simple. Keep childhood, keep authenticity through every season and highlight, regardless of fame or fortune. By the end of the conversation, she had honored the Indiana fans and organizers who made the All-Star weekend possible. She had exposed lies and rumors with calm confidence. She laughed at freeze-frame fame and sideline whispers with star power and humility. She took joy in unexpected honors like butter sculptures. She traced her beginning sprint cleats and yellow cards too, a grudging respect for every athlete's journey. These vignettes painted a portrait of Caitlin Clark, not just as a game changer on the court, but as a grounded young woman embracing every moment. She lives in 3 worlds: athlete, celebrity, friend. And she is learning, speaking, growing in each one. Every moment matters. She said at one point, "Win or lose, meme or mic, off this is my life, and I'm showing up." The podcast kept rolling, but this was her moment. There was vulnerability in her voice and confidence in her posture. She wasn't hiding anything. She was inviting listeners into her story. When the mic finally powered down, the room leaned back. There was no applause, no prompts, just a gentle hush. From that, you could feel unease, egos soften, truth settle in. "Let's do it again sometime," Sue Bird said quietly as they walked off camera. Caitlin smiled and nodded, because the success of Caitlin Clark on and off the court isn't just measured in stats or stories. It's measured in connection. And in that studio, with no script, that connection felt real. If you walked away with even a shred more understanding, if one moment made you laugh or think, that's Caitlin, and she's just getting started.